Let's start right now before I break with Rob Esche, who's on the line right now. I'll squeeze him in. Good morning, Rob.
Hey, good morning.
So, don't you love how these stories grow, and they grow from nothing? All it takes is one radio host to ask a question, and bang, there you are. And so I'll ask right off the bat, Vancouver committed to Utica. Are they committed to Utica?
No, they're leaving.
Okay.
Okay, thanks for joining us, Rob. Hang up the phone. We got a good story. Hang up the phone.
We're gonna leave it at that. That is freaking funny.
You gotta make sure you tell Craig Muter I said hi too.
I definitely will.
Remarkable man.
Yeah, he is. So clearly they're committed. I would assume.
Yeah, I think I don't want to get caught in being soft on how I talk, but at the end of the day, it's a Vancouver radio station. So when they called me, it means a lot to the people up there about their American Hockey League team, and they asked me questions that really, at the end of the day, none of us have the answers to what an NHL franchise does, and I thought that I answered them, pretty well. I mean, obviously, I'm not leading on to, our personal business on, how we decide to move forward. They're here for 3 more years. They're not going anywhere. But, there's a rumor out of Hartford that, the Rangers are coming here and all of this. And, every time something comes up, you can't dignify these comments by addressing them all. And I think that's realistically kind of what happened here. And, I felt that, like I said, I answered them well, and I answered them exactly how anybody else in my situation would answer them. But, people run with stories, and I told you last night, I don't really think there's much to the story, but on the same hand, I don't want, people to, anybody that knows me knows that if they see me nervous and I'm running around like a chicken with his head cut off, I think it's time to get nervous. And, I'm simply not.
Well, what's interesting, too, is they say that on 2 occasions, players did not get back in time. But sometimes the call-up happens when the team is on the road, right? So it's all somewhat relative. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, yes, absolutely. And there's two things to understand. One of them is, yes, is it a long way to get players from Utica, New York to Vancouver? Of course. And we're not idiots. It's one of those distances in the AHL.
Yeah.
But do you want to be able to call your players up, which happens how many times a year? Not that many.
Right.
So as players go up and down, and they got to get there for a game, so they're not there, or it doesn't work out. Okay, we understand that scenario. On the flip side of that, though, these players are in Utica, New York. They're close to all of the other teams. 80% of the league is in the Northeast.
Yeah.
Which means they're sleeping in their own beds. They're not in hotels. They're not on buses and planes and all over the place. So you have more time to practice, more time to develop, more time to compete in your own backyard. So it really is a tit-for-tat world.
Yeah.
When you look at it. And, a lot of the NHL world talks out of both sides of their mouth. They want to be able to have their players in their backyard. You got to remember, I played in Philadelphia.
Yeah.
They weren't only in our backyard, they were in our same building. Our practice facility was the same, the NHL and the AHL. We played at Wells Fargo. Across the parking lot was a Spectrum. Well, the great Mr. Snyder, God rest his soul, Mr. Snyder is like, I don't like this. I don't think that this makes sense. We're not challenging these young kids enough. We're not, letting them experience what it is to play in the minors.
Yeah, right.
So, it really is, like I said, I think it was a rumor that, got out there, and obviously I'm not going to come out and address Vancouver's personal business and my personal business on the air. And it's very hard to answer those questions without leaving them open-ended.
Right.
And that's just the truth of it.
Yeah. And listen, I appreciate you. You're saying what you can say, and in business you can't always say everything. But at the end of the day, let's just look at what we have here. You got a deal that's that at the very least you have 3 years, and if something were to happen, it involves a replacement team. If I'm correct with that, and then let's look at the success that this team has had and the franchise has had here in Utica. We're up to 70 some odd sellouts. It is. It's been a rough year in terms of winning games, but here we are on a 5-game winning streak. So it's tough to criticize here.
Yeah, we're over 500 right now. I mean, every year you get new players. I mean, we have a remarkable coach in Travis Green who's every year managed to pull people together, pull teams together. You know, we have NHL experience on that bench, and that's what that does. I mean, and it is a great scenario. At the end of the day, also, I think as you look at it, I mean, I think the people of Utica, the fans, they own the brand. I'm just a steward of the brand, but it's really their brand. And they've created a scenario where whatever happens, it'll get backfilled in by another team. I mean, that's part of the fluidness of the actual AHL. But with that being said, I mean, and I'll say it again, like I said yesterday, Trevor and Lyndon and I grew up in a hockey locker room. We're very candid. We're very open. Maybe not how we talk to the media, but when we talk to each other, we're extremely candid and open. There's nothing surprising that's going to happen between Vancouver and Utica. Like, we're going to see it a mile away.
Right.
We're going to address it. He knows how much I have vested into it. I know how much he has vested into it. And they're massively happy. You can only say that so many times.
Right.
And then as soon as, like, a little rumor comes out, I mean, hell, I don't want to get into it, but I mean, it really is. The rumor mill around here, whether it's my personal life or whether it's my business life, it's just kind of remarkable. I mean, and it's very tough to dignify every comment by addressing them.
Yeah.
And I just, and I feel bad because a lot of my good friends who are in the media circle here in the Utica area called me all day yesterday. I'm like, to be honest, you're the only, you and Tom are the only ones Tom Point are the only ones that I really text back because I just feel like, they're going down and pulling for straws that really aren't there.
Well, listen, we're big supporters and believe in the product and believe in what this has done for the community. And and you just look at the sellouts. I mean, what team wouldn't look to Utica and say,
yeah,
boy, is there an opening here? Because I just could not wait to get there. Smaller community, there's less for people to get in trouble, and it seems like it's the perfect fit, and it's working. So we got to say congratulations on that.
Yeah, and I think you're right. I mean, I hope and I mean this, and it's no disrespect to Vancouver. Obviously, it's no disrespect to anybody. It's flattering if a team like the New York Rangers is sitting there saying like, hey, you know what, we're talking about going to Utica.
Yeah.
The truth of the matter is they're not, though. They're
right.
I haven't had any talks with them. I mean, it's not happening, but it is flattering because, to your point, the fans have done a remarkable job of building this brand and building this atmosphere and building this to something that's remarkable. And our hats are off to them.
Listen, we want you to take the same thing you've done here and move it to nanotechnology. Get started immediately and fix this governor's mess, and everything will be okay here. We're just going to be in great shape. So
I have a lot of faith in nanotechnology. It'll come. It just took a little bit of a hiccup here. I have a lot of faith in it, though.
Rob Esche, thank you so much for taking the time this morning and clearing everything up. We appreciate it, and we'll see you at the game.
All right, bro.
Okay,
sure.
Thanks. Rob Esche.